Everyone's talking about AI and creativity. Is it humans versus machines? Well, what if it's not a fight at all? What if it's actually about a powerful partnership? Today, we're going to jump into a totally new workflow for logo design, one that's getting a huge boost from artificial intelligence. So let's get right into it. Okay, let's just cut to the chase, right? The big question everyone's asking, is your next logo going to be designed by AI? I mean, the actual symbol for your entire brand just popped out by a machine? It's a pretty wild thought, and yeah, it definitely taps into all the buzz and maybe a little bit of the fear about AI in the creative world. So the answer? It's a classic yes and no. It's a lot more interesting than that, actually. The reality is, AI isn't here to replace designers. Not at all. It's really becoming this superpowered creative partner. So don't think of it like some robot doing the work for you. Think of it more like an extension of your own brain. All right, so that brings us to our first big topic, a new design partnership. And this is all about how to use AI as a tool, not just a button. See, the whole key here is learning how to really use AI as a smart tool, not just, smashing that generate button over and over. Your strategic vision as the designer is still what's driving the whole thing. Okay, check this out. This is where it gets really clear. We've got AI assists versus you decide. On the one hand, AI is an absolute beast at just churning out ideas. Tons of symbol concepts, different shapes, hidden meanings, wordmark ideas, you name it. But then you look at the other side. That's your job. That's the human part. You're the one asking the important questions. Does this actually fit the brand? Does it need to be simpler? And the big one, will it scale? AI gives you the raw material, but you bring the strategy and the quality control. And really, it all boils down to this one simple idea. AI suggests, the designer chooses. AI accelerates, and the designer controls the quality. Seriously, if you remember one thing about this new workflow, make it this. This is the new mantra. Let's move on. From concept to form, building the foundation of a minimal logo. So enough theory, right? Let's get practical. How does this whole thing actually work when you're starting with a blank slate? We're going to focus on a modern, minimal logo style because it's all about one thing, building a super strong foundation from one single clear idea. So why do minimal logos work so well? It's simple. They are laser focused. Their entire job is to communicate one clear idea. That's it. And that clarity is exactly what makes them so powerful. And boom, here's where your AI partner steps in. You know that feeling of staring at a blank canvas? Gone. Instead, you feed the AI a smart strategic prompt like this. Notice you're not asking it for a finished logo. Nope, you're asking for concepts, ideas based on keywords like speed, precision, and trust. The AI is just giving you a bunch of starting points. It's your job to find the gem in there. So as you're looking through all those AI-generated ideas, you need a filter. And here it is. This is the formula for a killer modern logo. Geometry plus alignment plus reduction. You're looking for ideas that have clean geometric bones, can be perfectly aligned, and most importantly, can be stripped down to their absolute essence. You just keep removing stuff until only that one core idea is left. Let's take it a step further. Here's another prompt. You're asking the AI to play with pure shapes, just circles and straight lines to make the letter S. It's going to spit out some really cool, maybe kind of weird, but definitely imperfect stuff. And this is key. Your job is not to just copy-paste its best attempt. No way. Your job is to see the potential in one of those ideas, take it into Illustrator, and rebuild it from scratch, making sure every single curve and line is perfect. Okay, next up, the art of subtlety, mastering typography and negative space. We've got the basic shape down. Now we're getting into the details, the stuff that separates a good logo from a truly great one. We're talking about the fine art of typography and the super clever use of negative space. This is where that designer's eye for balance is everything. When it comes to typography for minimal logos, there are rules. And they're pretty strict, but man, they work. Your typeface has to be clean. It has to be bold enough to not disappear when you shrink it down. It needs zero, and I mean zero, decorations or fancy stuff. And the spacing between the letters, it has to be perfect. Absolutely perfectly balanced. And if you're thinking, okay, where do I even start? Here you go. This is a list of some go-to safe bets for modern typefaces. Think of these as your tried and true options. Sora, Manrope, Inter, these are all beautifully crafted, super clean, and they just plain work for this style. They're a great starting point. Okay, let's talk about one of my favorite things, negative space. That clever use of the empty space around the shapes. It is seriously one of the most powerful tricks in the book. And guess what? You can totally use AI to brainstorm ideas for it. Look at this prompt, asking it to combine the letters D and A in a clever way. It's an amazing way to just get your own brain firing on all cylinders to find that little spark of genius. Okay, next section, stress testing the design. We need to make sure this thing works in the real world. So, you've got your concept, the shape is looking sweet, you've picked your typeface, you're feeling good. But are you done? Oh, not even close. Now comes the really critical part, the stress test. We have to make sure this logo doesn't just look pretty on your giant monitor. It has to work everywhere. First up, color. And the rule is, keep it simple. Seriously simple. This is the classic recipe for a minimal color palette. You've got your main color, that's about 70%. Then a neutral, think black, white, or gray, for about 25%. And then just a little 5% splash of an accent color. That's it. Keeping it simple now means it'll be way more flexible later. And yeah, of course you can use AI for this. Just feed it the vibe of your brand, words like clean, modern, tech-forward, and tell it to keep the palette simple. It'll generate a bunch of professional options for you in seconds. It is such a massive time saver. Okay, but now for the moment of truth. This is the real test of any logo. How does it look when it's tiny? Let's start with 32 pixels. Think of a little icon on a website. Can you still tell what it is? Is it still recognizable? Let's go smaller. How about 16 pixels? We're talking favicon size now. You know, that little tiny icon at the top of your browser tab. If your logo just turns into a blurry mess at this size, that's a huge red flag. It means it's too complex. Time to go back to the drawing board and simplify. And now for the final, most brutal test of all, 8 pixels. This is tiny. If you can still even remotely make out the core idea of your logo at this size, congratulations, you have built something incredibly strong. That, right there, is the sign of a world-class design. All right, next section, bringing the brand to life, from the final logo to the full identity pack. So your logo survived the stress tests. Now for the really fun part, bringing the whole brand to life. Remember, a logo doesn't just float in space. It's the sun that the entire brand's solar system revolves around, and AI can help you build out that universe faster than ever before. You want to see what your logo looks like on a building, or a business card, or on an app screen? That used to take hours of hunting for mockups and fiddling in Photoshop. Now, it's literally a 3-step process. You finalize your logo, you write a quick prompt describing what you want to see, and then you just pick the best-looking results. It's an absolute game changer for client presentations. And all of this gets bundled up into the final product, the complete identity pack. Look, you're not just handing over a JPEG file, you're delivering a whole toolkit. It's got all the logo variations, the exact color codes, the typography rules, construction grids, everything a client needs to make sure their brand looks perfect, everywhere. Okay, let's wrap up with our last section, the final AI polish, a glimpse into the future of design collaboration. Before we go, I've got one last little pro tip for you. It's a bit of a cutting-edge technique, and it really shows you just how cool this partnership between human and AI can be. Think of it as the final polish. So just when you think you're totally finished, you're not. You can actually upload your final design and ask the AI to basically be your art director, a fresh pair of eyes. Using a prompt like this, you're asking it to find tiny little imperfections, a line that's a pixel off, a space that's a little unbalanced, things you'd never notice after staring at it for 5 hours straight. It's not about changing your concept, it's just about perfecting the craft. And that really brings us to the big takeaway here. As AI gets better and better at the how of design, making shapes, picking colors, generating mockups, our job shifts. For us, the human creatives, our focus has to be on mastering the why. Why this particular idea? Why is this the right message for this brand? Why does any of this even matter? That is the strategic thinking that will always, always be our most important skill. Something to think about, right?